Variables and data types are the absolute foundation of any Python program. Before writing any security automation script, whether to scan a network, parse HTTP responses, or manipulate file contents, you must understand how Python stores, names, and manipulates data. This lesson is intentionally practical and focused. Everything here will be used directly in real security scripting work. What is a variable? A variable is a named container that stores a value in memory. In Python, you do not need to declare the type of a variable before using it. Python figures out the type automatically based on the value you assign. This is called dynamic typing. To create a variable, you simply write its name, then the equals sign, equals, then the value. Target_IP equals 192.168.1.1. Port_number equals 80. Is _open equals true. Here, three variables are created. One holds a text value, an IP address as a string, one holds a whole number, an integer, and one holds a Boolean value, true or false. Python assigns each a type automatically. Variable names must follow rules. They can contain letters, digits, and underscores, underscore. They cannot start with a digit. They are case-sensitive. Port and port are two different variables. They should not use Python-reserved keywords like for, if, true, import, etc. Good naming practice is important in security scripts. Use descriptive names like target_host, response_code, or payload_list rather than vague names like X or TMP. The main data types in Python. Python has several built-in data types. In the context of security automation, the most commonly used are integers, floats, strings, booleans, lists, tuples, dictionaries, and none type. Each has specific characteristics and use cases. Integer, int. An integer is a whole number, positive or negative, with no decimal point. Port equals 443. Timeout_seconds equals 10. Retry_count equals 3. Integers are used extensively in network security scripts. Port numbers, status codes, iteration counts, and similar values are almost always integers. You can perform standard arithmetic operations on integers: addition, plus, subtraction, dash, multiplication, integer division, //, modulo, percent, and exponentiation. Open_ports equals 3. Total_ports equals 1024. Percentage equals open_ports, total_ports, 100. Hash percentage equals approximately 0.29296875. Floating point number, float. A float is a number with a decimal point. Response_time equals 0.342. Average_score equals 7.5. Floats appear naturally when dividing integers in Python 3. Be careful, floats can introduce small rounding errors in calculations due to how computers represent decimal numbers internally. Result equals 0.1 plus 0.2. Hash result is 0.30000000000000000004, not exactly 0.3. In security automation, floats are often used for timing measurements, latency, response time, or probability scores. String, STRA string is a sequence of characters enclosed in single quotes, double quotes, or triple quotes. Strings are used constantly in security work. Hostnames, URLs, payloads, file paths, command output, and more. Hostname equals example.com. URL equals https://example.com/login. Payload equals script alert 1/script. Triple quotes allow multi-line strings. Report equals vulnerability report. Target, 192.168.1.1. Status, critical. Useful string operations. Concatenation with plus. http://plus example.com gives http://example.com. Repetition with a5 gives a. Length with len password gives 8. Accessing characters by index, admin 0, gives a. Slicing, admin 1 to 3, gives dm. Checking content within, SQL and SQL injection gives true. Converting to lowercase, admin''lower gives admin. Stripping whitespace, test.strip gives test. Splitting into a list, 80,443,22.split, gives 80,443,22. Formatted strings, called f-strings, are especially useful for building dynamic payloads or messages. IP equals 10.0.0.1. Port equals 8080. Message equals F connecting to IP on port. Hash message is connecting to 10.0.0.1 on port 8080. Strings in Python are immutable. Once created, their content cannot be changed. Operations like replace or upper always return a new string. Boolean, bool. A boolean can only be one of two values, true or false, with capital first letter in Python. Is underscore vulnerable equals true. Authentication underscore required equals false. Booleans are the result of comparisons and logical tests. Port equals 22. Is underscore SSH equals, port equals 22, hash true. Is underscore HTTPS equals, port equals 443, hash false. Comparison operators that produce booleans. Equal to, equals, not equal to, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than equals, less than or equal to. Logical operators combine booleans. And both conditions must be true. Or, at least one condition must be true. Not reverses the boolean value. Port equals 22. Service equals SSH. Is underscore target equals, port equals 22 and service equals SSH, hash true. In Python, certain values are considered falsy. They behave like false in a condition. The integer 0, an empty string, an empty list, an empty dictionary, and the special value none. Everything else is considered truthy. List. A list is an ordered, mutable, modifiable collection of values. Lists are one of the most important structures in security scripting, used to store collections of ports, IP addresses, payloads, or scan results. Open underscore ports equals 22, 80, 443, 8080, targets equals 192.168.1.1, 192.168.1.2, 192.168.1.10, payloads equals OR1 equals 1, script alert 1 slash script comma dot dot slash topmat slash launch dot slash lush password key list operations. Access by index, open underscore port 0, gives 22 modify an element, open underscore ports 1, equals 8000, add an element at the end, open underscore ports dot append 3306, remove an element by value, open underscore ports dot remove 8080, length, len open underscore ports, check presence, 443 and open underscore ports gives true, slice, open underscore ports 1 to 3, gives 8443. Lists can contain mixed types, but in practice it is cleaner and safer to keep lists homogeneous. Tuple. A tuple is like a list, but it is immutable. Once created, it cannot be modified. Tuples are written with parentheses. Credentials equals, admin, password 123, port underscore range equals, 1, 1024. Tuples are often used for fixed data that should not change, like a pair of values representing a host and a port. You can access elements by index just like a list, but you cannot add, remove, or change elements. Dictionary. Dict. A dictionary stores data as key-value pairs. It is extremely useful in security automation for representing structured data such as scan results, request headers, configuration settings, or vulnerability details. Vulnerability equals name, SQL injection. Severity, critical. URL https://example.com/login. Confirmed, true. Accessing values. Print vulnerability severity, hash prints critical. Adding or updating a value. Vulnerability CVSS_score equals 9.8. Checking if a key exists. Confirmed in vulnerability hash true. Getting all keys or values. Vulnerability.keys hash dict_keys name, severity, URL, confirmed, CVSS_score vulnerability.values hash dict_values SQL injection, critical. Dictionaries are ordered in Python 3.7 and above, meaning they preserve the order in which keys were inserted. Non-a-type, none. None is a special value in Python that represents the absence of a value. It is different from 0, false, or an empty string. It is often used as a default value when a result has not yet been determined. Result equals none. If result is none, print no result yet. In security scripts, none is commonly returned by functions when an operation found nothing. For example, a search that yielded no match. Checking the type of a variable. To check what type a variable is, use the built-in function type. Type 443 hash class int. Type 0.5 hash class float. Type admin hash class str. Type true hash class bool. Type 1, 2, 3 hash class list. Type key, val, hash class dict. Type none hash class none type. To check if a variable is of a specific type, use isinstance. Isinstance port, int, hash true if port is an integer isinstance hostname, str, hash true if hostname is a string. Type conversion. You will frequently need to convert between types. Python provides built-in functions for this. Int, converts to integer, float, converts to float, str, converts to string, bool, converts to boolean, list, converts to list. Examples. Port underscore string equals 8080 port underscore number equals int port underscore string, number 8080 as integer. Number equals 443 label equals str number hash 443 as string. Entries equals 22, 80, 443, port underscore list equals list entries hash 22, 80, 443 as a list. Type conversion is critical in security scripts because data read from files, network responses, or user input always arrives as strings, and must often be converted to the correct type before use. Attempting to use the wrong type leads to errors, such as trying to add an integer to a string without converting first. Practical example in a security context. Here is a small example that brings together variables and types in a realistic security automation scenario. Hash target information. Target underscore IP equals 10.10.10.5. Target underscore port equals 80. Is underscore HTTPS equals false. Hash list of paths to test for directory traversal. Paths underscore to underscore test equals /admin /backup /.git /config.php. Hash scan result stored as a dictionary. Scan underscore result equals IP:target underscore IP. Port, target underscore port. Open, true. Paths underscore found. Hash build a base URL protocol equals HTTPS if is underscore HTTPS else HTTP. Base underscore URL equals F protocol, / target underscore IP, target underscore port. Hash base underscore URL is http://10.10.10.5:80. This example shows real variable naming conventions, type variety, list usage, dictionary structure, F-string formatting, and Boolean logic, all within a security automation context. Summary of key points. Variables are created with the assignment operator, equals, and Python assigns their type dynamically. The main types used in security automation are integer, int, float, float, string, str, boolean, bool, list, list, tuple, tuple, dictionary, dict, and none type. Strings are immutable and can be manipulated with methods like split, strip, lower, and f-strings. Lists are mutable ordered sequences, ideal for collections of targets, ports, or payloads. Tuples are immutable ordered sequences used for fixed data. Dictionaries store key-value pairs and are essential for structured data like scan results or vulnerability details. None represents an absent or uninitialized value. Use type to inspect a variable's type and isinstance to verify it. Use int, str, float, list to convert between types. Type mismatches cause runtime errors. Always validate and convert input data before using it in calculations or comparisons.